Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Munch, munch, munch.
Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenges of being a man in modern society, and God aren't there a lot at the moment. We also talk about whatever the hell that means. But I'm Kane, and joining me this evening, with Maddie taking some annual leave to spend birthday and Easter Sunday with his better half. It is her birthday today. Happy birthday to her. It's Ryan and I. How are you, Ryan?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good. Good, I guess. As good as one can be when you've been locked down. It's looking at it today, it's been exactly 1 month since our last excursion adventure, and that was literally just to get a very quick brunch a month ago to celebrate us, myself and my partner being together for 10 years. It was the 10-year anniversary from when the day we met, and that was the last thing we've actually done before, I guess, being locked down with COVID-19. Not that we have it, but locked down due to COVID-19 being out in the world.
Well, congratulations. I mean, that's a good last little thing before you get shut and locked down.
Yeah. I guess it is. Well, it is. Yeah, we managed to sneak that in. It was literally just 45 minutes. Oh, the little fellow was being minded by my parents. That's also the last time that he's seen them. So yeah, it's already been a month. It's gone fast, but it's gone really slow as well.
Yeah, we're a month since the official wave of the lockdown has happened here in London. But I tell you, having a 4-day or supposedly 4-day long weekend during a lockdown, that's a shitty problem at the moment. It's a real, what do you do? Like I spent, it was either Friday or Saturday, whatever day, I alternate my runs every second day. So I turned my run into a 10K run around the city of London, which was lovely because there was not many people there and everyone was practicing, 2 meters and self-isolation, and saw all these, wonderful sights that normally are just crowds of people with. But other than that, it just feels like you kind of wake up this morning and it was like, oh yeah, it is Easter. I will eat some chocolate. But there's no like feeling that it's Easter. It just kind of feels the same day for the last month.
Yeah, and I guess just talking, we'll touch on Easter in a sec, but just talking about what you just mentioned then, like the fact that you can't even remember what day, whether it was Friday or Saturday, that you went for a run. The days and the weeks are just sort of blending and bleeding into themselves at the moment. Like there's no real definition on, okay, it's a work day, it's a non-work day, and those sort of things. Are you finding that as well?
Yeah, very much so. It's really becoming a bit of a blur. Especially because I am working a lot at the moment, so it's not uncommon to be doing a 6-day week. But yeah, besides cooking a Sunday breakfast, and we have with our team dress up Wednesdays, so I put on a suit and tie on Wednesdays, which the first time we did it, I was like, oh yeah, this is a bit of fun. The second time we did it, I was like, I don't know that we're going to continue this. And then the third week, I was like, I need to do this because otherwise I won't know when it's Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, that's probably telling in itself on all the days are just blurring into one.
Yeah, and you've worked from home a little bit, I guess, over the years. So it's not like it's not foreign to you to be working from home, but working from home, I guess, on a permanent basis every day is another challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, so for the last couple of years, I've generally had minimum 1 day a fortnight, usually closer to, I guess, a day a week, some periods, 2 days a week. And love working from home, massive advocate for it. But doing it full time is very different to doing it in splatters, I guess. And a big challenge, for the modern man now is when is it work time? When is it not? We were talking just before we jumped on here because you've obviously got a lot more experience in the working from home thing. But I just find like today is a Sunday and I have this urge to do a bunch of work. And that's because I like what I'm doing and that sort of thing. But there is that societal norm that's like, no, you should have a day off. But then I'm also like, but in lockdown, does it really matter? Like, what else would I do at the time? I might as well be productive. And you have that, I guess, kind of mind battle of, do I switch off? Do I not? Is this bad? Is this good? I don't know.
Yeah, and I think that is the challenge from this working from home, the environment we're all in at the moment. If we are working from home, because some people still have essential work where they have to go to work, but for everyone else who can and are working from home, like it is a completely different challenge to like you said before, a splattering of working from home a day a week or a day a fortnight. And yeah, when you're locked down, there's nothing you can really do on the weekend. Like it's like Groundhog Day. You wake up and you do your little routine, and then the default setting is, well, I've got nothing else to do. I might as well do some work. There's only so much Netflix you can watch. There's only so many, conversations you can have with the other people in your house.
Workouts you can do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of, you get to the point where you go, okay, I may as well just try to get some stuff done. I think over the last week, I've just been chipping away at 500 lines of client data that I've been putting off consolidating for probably 2 or 3 years. Our client data inside our business, and just consolidating that into a CRM. So I've got everything in one place and really well organized, and I can run things off that. And I've been putting that off for 2 or 3 years, but I just thought, well, now's probably the perfect time to do it. A, it's kind of mindless. You don't need to be really switched on to do it. And B, there's plenty of just random bits of time floating around now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding I'm doing similar things. Like now I've moved overseas and having had various roles and businesses and stuff, spending a lot of time trying to consolidate them, and just boring shit like consolidating super and just financy stuff, and I don't know, just tasks that you sort of just put them off and go, oh, I'll deal with it sometime, and you never really do. But it doesn't. I guess the challenge with that I'm finding is, the internal thing of guilt of if you if you are doing work, like I've worked for work, I guess my job or the stuff that I do over here. I think Monday I finished at 9, and I was back on for a call at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Finished, I think, Tuesday 7:30, 8. Now I'm in healthcare, so we're just like insanely busy. But and comparative to the doctors on the front line doing 12-hour shifts, it's nothing what I'm doing. But there's this sense of then, well, if I jump on at 10:30, 11 on Wednesday because I've just pulled these hours, there's like this, you're riddled with guilt because you're also just like, well, what else am I going to do at home? I'm actually, it's a public holiday tomorrow with Easter Monday, but I'm off to work in our aged care business as one of the like out on the front line type thing. And I'm, ecstatic to be working on a public holiday just to get out of the house, as potentially bad as that is.
No, it's completely understandable, because at the moment we're all just in solitary exercise, and you can go for a walk, and here it's almost still warm enough that you can go for a swim, but you can't sit on the beach. You can't. There's so many rules and stipulations, and it feels like people are constantly watching each other as well. Like you see on social media, people dobbing in other people for doing something which realistically is pretty harmless, but it's like almost got to that Big Brother culture now again, where people are like almost aggressively dobbing people in for stuff which is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I saw something that actually made me quite happy this week, or maybe it was even yesterday. Again, like what we're talking about here, who the hell knows what day is what day? But where the UK government here came out and said, look, just because we see a few photos on social media of people, a small amount of people doing the wrong thing at some parks, I think some people were sunbaking or some shit, that, which interestingly, actually, the second that the sun comes out and it goes over 20 degrees, legitimately that stereotype of English people going down into bathers and sunbaking in the park is very true. Having seen it as I run past the parks. But yeah, there was a bit of sensibleness from the government to go, we're not going to increase the restrictions just because a few people are dobbing people in on social media, which I thought, like you said, it's relatively harmless. It'd be better if they weren't doing it. It's certainly not to the extent of thousands of people on Bondi Beach being idiots. But yeah, it's good to see that they took a bit of a sensible approach to go, no, not allowing people to exercise would have far more ramifications.
Yeah, no, absolutely. If we lost the ability to exercise, and if I'm going to be completely honest, also by alcohol, I don't know how we'd cope. Or I don't know how I'd cope. If you took away those two things at the moment, like I do a lot of exercise, and at the moment it's just like, okay, I'll get to the end of another long day, and it's not every day, but it's probably every third day now. I kind of go, okay, I'll just have a glass of wine, because man, they just feel like long days because you're never switching off at all, and you're always in the same place.
You got no commute. You just don't even have like a lunch.
No.
When you're at work, you might catch up with somebody for a lunch and just change something. Yeah, we do video calls and that kind of thing. But yeah, without the commute, you kind of roll out of bed and you're like, all right, I'll do a bit of exercise, and then what else is there? I'll get on work. But it reminds me a bit of the Simpsons episode, actually, with Homer going, no beer and no TV makes
Homer something.
Go crazy.
Don't mind if I do. You absolutely right. Like it's just that relentlessness, and we've got it. Like we've just found out that basically kinder for our little fella's been cancelled for term 2 because he's in kinder. Like they can't replicate that. If you're in primary school, you can replicate, video lessons on how to write
or whatever it is.
Yeah, absolutely. But they can't replicate that sort of thing for kinder. So they're like, oh, listen, it's kind of pointless as, really having a crack at it. So you're on your own for the next 11 weeks. And we're like, okay. We now have to come up with a plan for the next 11 weeks of how do we entertain a 4-year-old boy in the confines basically of our property, and us not all wanting to kill each other by 4 o'clock each day. It's not literally, but like everyone gets on each other's nerves pretty regularly when you're all cooped up. So, yeah.
It's that whole thing of, familiarity breeds content, no matter how nice. Like we're working on, overthinking for something. Like even if it's just somebody brings a glass of water, or maybe even a wine, and just thanking and appreciating those positive things. Because I think like up until this, I guess, long weekend, like we're a month in, and I was like, all right, it's relatively okay, because you kind of go Monday, Friday, I'm doing this. Saturday, I'm dealing with overworkflow. Sunday, I'll just read and exercise and watch Netflix and kind of repeat. But I almost feel like it's worse having days, and it kind of just like, what do I do when, and how do I stack this? And like, I think of people who have been, and you and I are very privileged at the moment in that we're both able to work from home. We both haven't taken an income hit. We both, have a lot of, I guess, benefits in that sense. But people that don't, or people that, I think of, say, a hairdresser who's just like, I'm just waiting for this thing to end, or a bar, I worked in a bar all through uni, and you just kind of like, I think the long weekends made me realize a big challenge is filling your time, and without actually working 6-7 days, I don't know whether it would be worse. I dare say it may be.
Yeah, it's a really interesting point. Like like I almost get to the stage where like, okay, I have the ability to do work. I know a lot of people now don't have the ability to work. I feel guilty if I'm kind of just, procrastinating or just mucking around. It's like, okay, I'm in a privileged position where I can be doing stuff and I can help people, not in a health sense, but we have a lot of clients over the last 2 or 3 weeks here in Australia who've been asking for accounting advice on staff. And we've basically gone from, I guess, being an accountant to being like HR and almost legal and things like that. And I know all this work's going to be non-chargeable. I'm certainly not going to charge clients for the stuff we've been doing, but I feel guilty not putting in the work, and I have the capacity and capability to do that at the moment, of actually helping these people, because they're in a much worse situation than I. But I hate using the word unprecedented, because we've discussed this before. It's not unprecedented times.
It's not unprecedented. We've had plagues forever, but it's
fairly unique.
Generation.
Yeah, it's unique for this generation, in that to not be able to effectively leave your own home for like months on end. I've never been put in this situation before, and it's new to me how I'm reacting. It's new to me how other people around me are reacting. It's a really unique time.
Yeah, and I think everyone's different. Like, I feel like I was reacting quite well until probably today, actually. Like, I had a dummy spit this morning, which I'll admit to. Because I was just like, I'm done. I'm so over this shit. I'm like, I don't even know. Do I get dressed now? Do I eat some more Easter chocolate? Do I do some exercise? Do I cook breakfast? I'm like, well, how the hell do you even structure the goddamn day? I was like, this is insane. And then, the tiniest things, we're living in a share house here, and our housemates are lovely, but the tiniest things just irate you. You're just like, oh my God, I'm so pissed off right now, and I really shouldn't be. So it's just and everybody is taking it differently. Everybody's got their different ways of doing things, right or wrongly. But what have you found that's actually kept you sane?
With the exercise and the wine every third night. But honestly, it's probably days like today where it was Easter, so we had to put in the effort. The Easter Bunny had to put in the effort which is great that ScoMo allowed the Easter Bunny to travel cross borders without any issue. But he
got an exemption, thankfully.
He did. I think he's more worried about myxomatosis and COVID-19 anyway. But it was Easter here, so we obviously made an effort with the little fella, and that made today, at least the morning of today, a little bit nice. But little fella's getting bored as well. Like, he's asking to watch TV, which he never usually does, or hasn't previously. So I think everyone's just getting a bit bored of just doing the same stuff day after day. So anything which you can kind of break that monotony. And Easter was a good one today. I don't know what it will be tomorrow. It's just almost coming up with something unique to focus on for a particular day. But man, it gets hard when you're at day 30 and there's probably another 100, maybe another 100 in front of us.
Yeah, I'm really hopeful that there's not 100 in front of us in this current situation. We're sort of anticipating here another 4 to 6 weeks of it in this format, and then like gradual easing of restrictions. But I think there's also talking with like some challenges with my teams and stuff at work. There is a lot around this concept of like just guilt of whether, like what you were saying, is you're doing whatever you can to help people, and you're doing all this work, and there's almost, even if you are taking some time off to be like, hey, I will watch some Netflix or whatnot, and it's 8-9 p.m. at night, in a way you feel guilty, because you're like, should I be checking in with somebody? Should I be calling somebody? Should I be doing some exercise if I haven't done some exercise for a while? Should I be having the second glass of wine? Like, I think if we're being trapped, I'm finding, I don't know if you are, but just all the internal chatter in the brain is just going nuts.
Yeah, and a lot of that is because there's only so many people you can talk to as well. Like, you've obviously got TK there, and I've got my better half and the little fella. As much as he's not very good at listening, he's more of a talker. So yeah, it's there's only so many people you can talk to as well. So we're all spending a lot more time in our heads. I think the important thing is everyone just cuts themselves some slack. Again, it's a really unique time. We've never been put in this situation before. I reckon we just need to, maybe don't judge ourselves and each other as much as we probably are, and just kind of go, okay, I need a break. I shouldn't feel guilty. I've been busting my chops, and if I want to watch Netflix or I want to have that second glass of wine, then we'll bugger it. Like, when we all come out of this in 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks time, then we'll go back to whatever normal is in inverted commas, and it's less of an issue. So I think now people just need to really kind of just cut themselves some slack and each other.
Yeah, I think you might have hit a bit of a nail on the head there. Maybe it's a matter of, I think initially when this happened, I know I did, in terms of trying to, okay, how do I change to adapt the new situation to fit normal as much as possible? So still try and hold things to, I guess, that normal, whatever that is, standards or accountability or those kind of pieces. Whereas I think, like you said, now it is a time that is unknown to everyone. That maybe it is like we just need to reframe what normal is and accept that it will not be that during this time, and we should, like you said, just cut a little bit of slack here and there. Maybe that'll make us all survive the next 4 to 6 weeks a bit better, or however long it happens to be.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever normal should be for whatever person who's out there listening is, their normal should be whatever will get them through for the next 4 or 6 weeks, because there's light at the end of the tunnel, but it's still, probably as far away as we're into it. So whatever the normal is, which helps them get through on a day by day or a week by week basis, and just do it, like, within reason, just do it.
I think, I read something around situation like this is really a matter of survival, not prosper. And it's whatever, like what you just said, Dan, whatever your normal is that actually just gets you coming out at the other end of it, however long that happens to be, somewhat sane, healthy, and put together is ultimately a big success.
Yeah, I think the other part which you touched on before was that just showing gratitude to other people as well. There'd be nothing worse than being, I guess, stuck around, somebody who's a little bit selfish at the moment, like somebody who's just a bit take and doesn't show gratitude as well. I think that'd be really hard, because we're all highly strung at the moment. Everyone's trying to do as much as they can for each other as well. So if you've got the ability to show gratitude for someone for something that somebody's done, it would just, I think it's just a nice thing to do anytime, but especially now when everyone is just so highly strung. If you can practice that, I think it make a big difference to everyone around you.
Yeah, it just disarms things quite a bit, because I suppose, everyone is trying their best. We are very highly strung, but just, an occasional thank you, a little bit of appreciation, I think in times like this goes a long way.
Yeah. So what is on for the rest of your, it's Sunday morning there in London now? What are you going to do now? Which is your normal for the day?
I think I'll do a bit of journaling to get out of my head. I'm on a yoga day, not a run day, so stretch the running that I did do. A bit, and then we do have to brave the supermarket, so we'll go and tackle that one and stock up for the next week or two, so we don't have to brave it again. And then, in all honesty, probably a little bit of work, but work that I think I kind of want to do. So, and like you said, just cutting a little bit of slack on. Actually, it's not that bad if you do use this isolation time to just get some stuff done.
Yeah, and if TK had a bright spark idea on something which you guys could do, then I'm sure you'd drop the work and you'd go and do that as well. So it's
Absolutely.
it's almost that default of, okay, if there's nothing else and everyone's cool with it, I'm just going to go and do X because I need to do X at some point. So yeah, still potentially getting stuff done, but if there's a good idea or something better comes up, just do it.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of flexibility in these times is probably needed, because it's a time of just utter uncertainty.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. And I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up this week. Just remember to embrace your normal and be grateful for those around you at the moment, because, hey, in the current environment, you hope they're going to be around forever, but you know, you never really, really know. Do remember to subscribe to Daddy Eats Last while you're on iTunes if you haven't already. And while you're there, please leave a review. Also, tell your mates about the podcast, especially if they are guys. Most of all, thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week for another episode, or should I say serving, of Daddy Eats Last. How's that for a dad joke? Catch you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.